It's really easy to say that Facebook and Instagram should have never been allowed to merge, he said during State of the Net, an event hosted at the Newsroom by the nonprofit Internet Education Foundation. But, he added, he sees no point in relitigating those decisions. We can't go back. Abdulrahim also offered an overview of his perspective on antitrust enforcement in general that suggests the DOJ could bring a tolerant interpretation to other tech mergers, such as the pending tie-up of Sprint, and T-Mobile, TMUS. The one catch: merger-minded companies had better be able to show that their deals won't close doors to competition. Would Instagram be what it is today had it not merged with Facebook? He asked of the photo-sharing firm that Facebook bought for $1 billion in 2012. We'll watch it with interest, he said. But I'm just not familiar enough with the specifics of what that integration means. Privacy advocates such as Freedom from Facebook have urged the FTC to use its authority under that settlement to compel a breakup. I've come around to that argument myself. But the Washington Post reported that the FTC is instead looking into imposing a record-breaking fine, which, in the context of the prior record being a $22.5 million fine of Google, may not amount to much. The strongest enforcement against Facebook may come from the European Union. German Justice Minister Katharina Barley told Politico that a merger of Facebook messaging properties would break that country's antitrust laws. Throughout his discussion of Facebook, Abdulrahim rejected the idea that the size of a company alone should represent a problem requiring a solution from antitrust enforcers. It can't be for the purposes of, oh, this person is too big, he said. But he also said that a company getting bigger by buying a competitor also doesn't have to represent an antitrust problem. As a general matter, you want as many competitors in a marketplace as possible, he said. However, as I've said publicly before, there's not a magic number in any market. It could very well be if there's enough competition and the barriers to entry are very low, 2 to 1 can be enough, he said. Sprint and T-Mobile could take comfort from that line if they think they can successfully point to the competitive role played by such virtual network operators as Comcast's CMCSA, Xfinity Mobile, which resells the network of Verizon, VZ, Newspulse Finance's corporate parent. Or the Justice Department could decide that since nobody seems anxious to build a 5G network from scratch, this market now looks closed to new entrants. Opponents of the merger would be well advised to focus not on this deal's effects on the public at large. Abdulrahim mocked not in the public interest as a standard subject to endless redefinition by whoever's sitting in my chair or 3 people at the FTC, and instead focus on its effect on the specific metric of prices. That remains the biggest unknown of that deal, far more so than the possible upside of combining Sprint and T-Mobile's networks. Or as Abdulrahim put it, speaking of post-merger markets in general, is there a market force that constrains their ability to increase prices? Answer that, and you may have a good sense of how this Department of Justice will decide this attempted telecom merger. More from Rob. Email rob@, follow him on Twitter at @RobGuerrero.